जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवराधारी जय गिरिवराधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधरी श्री राधे जय राधा गिरिधरी श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमणि जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमणि जय गौरानिताय श्री श्री गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय श्री श्री गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गुरुदेव की जय रंदराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय हरे कृष्णा everyone please welcome to this session of Srimad Bhagavatam on the auspicious occasion of Gita Jayanti. Here please bless me so that I can deliver the message of Srila Prabhupada. And also please correct me if I got anything wrong. Hare Krishna, with your blessings. I am starting reading Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita. So we are reading Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita, chapter 36 in every time and every town and village, page number 1017. So I am going to share the page so that we can. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, are you able to see the page?
Yes, we can see Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So it's page number 1017 if you are following the book. Prabhupada wasn't satisfied preaching only to the Indians. He wanted to preach the Africans. Indians and Africans were completely segregated. But since a Krishna conscious person does not make distinctions based on the body, Prabhupada said the Indians had a duty to share their spiritual culture with the Africans. Prabhupada impressed on Brahmananda Swami that his first duty in Africa was to give Krishna consciousness to the Africans. Because of bad experience in Turkey and Pakistan, Brahmananda Swami had been reluctant to hold public kirtans in Nairobi. Besides, the Africans spoke mostly Swahili. They were culturally different from usually to poor to buy books. So Brahmananda Swami didn't know how to preach them effectively. Going to the Indians had been easy and natural, but Prabhupada wanted the Africans. It is an African country, he said simply. They are the proprietors. We should be preaching to them. As with everything else in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada demonstrated how to do this also. He got the use of Radha Krishna temple in predominantly African downtown area. The temple had a hall with doors opening onto the busy street, and Prabhupada instructed the devotees to hold kirtana in the hall, keeping the doors open. The devotees did as he asked, and in 5 minutes the hall began filling up with people. It was a shabby area of town, and the people who entered were illiterate and dirty, but they were curious, and they happily joined in Kirtana, smiling, clapping, and dancing. Brahmananda Swami left the hall and went to the nearby house where Prabhupada was staying. The place is filled with people. Brahmananda Swami said, "But it's not necessary for you to come. We can carry on and do the program ourselves." No, Prabhupada said, "I must go." Brahmananda Swami tried to discourage him. "No, I must go." Prabhupada repeated, "Are you going to take me?" When Brahmananda Swami arrived with Srila Prabhupada, the hall was even more crowded than it had been a few minutes before. Prabhupada in his silken saffron robes appeared effulgent as he entered the dingy, poorly lit auditorium. As he walked, the crowd parted, leaving an asile for him to pass among them, and they watched him curiously. On stage, Prabhupada led a kirtana and lectured. Although the Swahili speaking audience was unable to understand Prabhupada's lecture, the people were respectful, and the kirtan they loved. Members of the Indian community had been apprehensive of Prabhupada's opening their hall to the Africans, and some of them had attended to see what would happen. Observing Prabhupada's compassionate program, however, the Indians were impressed. Such an apparently simple program had the spiritual potency to erase cultural boundaries. This should be Brahmananda Swami's mission in Africa. Prabhupada insisted offering Krishna consciousness to the Africans, and the program should be simple, distributing prasadam, distributing through books, and chanting Hare Krishna with drums and kartals. Krishna consciousness should not be just another Nairobi Hindu religious cert. The Hindus should take part by donating money, but Brahmananda Swami's preaching and recruiting should be among the Africans. When several black American disciples joined Prabhupada in Nairobi, Prabhupada told them, 400 years ago, your ancestors were taken away from here as slaves, but who? Just see how you have returned as masters. Prabhupada also organized Nairobi's first outdoor kirtan performance. The devotees went to Kamakunji's Park, largest tree, a historical landmark connected with Kenyan independence. As they stood chanting beneath the tree, a large crowd gathered and many began chanting. Some even danced in a sort of tribal shuffle. One young stepped forward and offered to translate Brahmananda Swami's speech into Swahili. The devotees distributed sweet bundi, and the people in the crowd really enjoyed themselves. The whole affair was a great success. Rushing back to Prabhupada, Brahmananda Swami reported on the wonderful kirtan in the park. Brahmananda felt the same emotion as in 1966 when he had reported to Prabhupada the success of the first Kirtan at Washington Square Park in New York City. Now, as then, Brahmananda Swami had followed Prabhupada's instructions and the results had been successful. Prabhupada, by his personal example and by his pushing Brahmanand Swami had within few days changed the emphasis of preaching in Africa from Indians to Africans. So I will stop it here, Prabhuji. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, we are reading a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 16, verse number 25. The name is Creative Impetus, and the description of the chapter is description of Jambudvipa. So, I'll share the verse. Are you able to see the verse, Prabhuji?
We can say, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yanyupajunsananamna kadachitapi prajanam klama sveda daurgandhya jara maya mrityusistosna vaivarni apasarga dayas tapavisesha bhavanti ya vai jivam sukham nirati sayam eva yan upajusana kadachitapi prajanam vali palita klam sveda daurgandhya jaramaya mrityusistosnam vaivarni pasarga dayastapa विशेष भवन्ति यावत् जीवं सुखं निरति स्वयम् एव यन् उपजुसानानां न कदाचित् अपि प्रजानां बलिफलितक्लमस्वेद दौर्गन्ध्य जरामय मृत्युशीतोष्ण वैवर्ण्यपोषकदयस्तपविशेष भवन्ति एव जीवं सुखं निरति स्वयम् एव. Anybody would like to recite? Please welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I try please?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Yan upajusha ananam na kadachit api prajanam bali palito kalama sved dauragandhaya jaramaya mrityu sitoshana vaivarnayo pasargadhayastap vishesha bhavanti yavaj jivam sukham nirtishayam eva. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anybody? Hare Krishna, Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Would anybody read to?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I please read?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yan upaju shananam na kadachit api prajanam vali palita klama sweda daurkandhya jaramaya mrityu shitoshna vaivarnyo pasargadayas tapa vishesha bhavanti yavaj jivam sukham nirati shayam eva. Thank you, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay. Would anybody? Yes, Mataji. Would anybody would like to read synonyms? translations?
Yes, Mataji, may I try?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead. Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The residents of the material world who enjoy the products of these flowing rivers have no wrinkles on their bodies and no gray hair. They never feel fatigue, and perspiration does not give their bodies a bad odor. They are not afflicted by old age, disease, or untimely death. They do not suffer from chilly cold or something scorching heat, nor do their bodies lose their luster. They all live very happily without anxieties until death. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Would anybody like to read synonyms? Sorry, we missed it.
Tapat.
Synonyms, Mataji. Synonyms.
Oh,
Hare Krishna
synonym.
Mataji, I'll read it.
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
The
Then
synonym.
which all the products produced because of the flowing rivers mentioned above, upasanganam, of a person who are fully utilizing, not kadachit at any time, api certainly, prajanam of the citizens, vali wrinkles, palita gray hairs, klama fatigue, swed perspiration, duragandha bad odor because of unclean perspiration, jara old age, amaya disease, mrityu untimely death, sita severe cold, usna scorching heat, vaivarnya fading of the luster of the body, upasarga troubles, adya and so on, tapa of sufferings. Vishesha varieties, bhavanti are yavat as long as jivam life, sukham happiness, niratisayam unlimited, eva only. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So,
Sorry,
purport by
Mataji.
Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, would anybody like to read purport?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I will read, please.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse hints at the perfection of human society even within this material world. The miserable conditions of this material world can be corrected by a sufficient supply of milk, yogurt, honey, ghee, molasses, food grains, ornaments, bedding, sitting places, and so on. This is human civilization. Ample food grains can be produced through agricultural enterprises, and profuse supplies of milk, yogurt, and ghee can be arranged through cow protection. Abundant honey can be obtained if the forests are protected. Unfortunately, in modern civilization, men are busy killing the cows that are the source of yogurt, milk, and ghee. They're cutting down all the trees that supply honey, and they're opening factories to manufacture nuts, boats, automobiles, and wine instead of engaging in agriculture. How can the people be happy? They must suffer from all the misery of materialism. Their bodies become wrinkled and gradually deteriorate until they become almost like dwarfs, and a bad odor emanates from their bodies because of unclean perspiration, resulting from eating all kinds of nasty things. This is not human civilization. If people actually want happiness in this life and want to prepare for the best in the next life, they must adopt a Vedic civilization. In a Vedic civilization, there is a full supply of all the necessities mentioned above. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I will read translation one more time. The residents of the material world who enjoy the products of these flowing rivers have no wrinkles on their bodies and no gray hair. They never feel fatigue, and perspiration does not give their bodies a bad odor. They are not afflicted by old age, disease, or untimely death. They do not suffer from chilly cold or scorching heat, nor do their bodies lose their luster. They all live very happily without anxieties until death. Thank you so much. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामयं ददाति स्वपदार्थं. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवते सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोको भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यचन्द्रेश्वरं. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So we have been hearing the glories of Jambudvipa. The elaborate description of was given in these chapters. First of all, if you see from the perspective of Maharaj Parikshit, so Maharaj Parikshit have only few days left. So he's going to die very soon.
Finish karo beta.
We can how we can understand why he's asking. So because he's dying in few more days, what is the importance of knowing all these? Still he's asking all these questions to Srila Sukadeva Goswami. In here we can understand. So Parikshit Maharaj is not only interested in the energies, internal energies of the Lord, and he's also interested to hear about the creations, external energy of the Lord, how he created, how he is maintaining, how he is taking care of all the living entities in all the planets, even in the spiritual and material world. He wants to hear everything, each and everything about the Lord. So in this regard, he is asking so many questions to Sukadeva Goswami. He remembered when Parikshit Maharaj, he was traveling around the Bhumandala. He found some days it is light, some days no light. So he was upset and he wants to give the light to his citizens. He traveled around the Bhumandala in the axis, followed by the Surya Deva. So when the sun was traveling, he followed the path of sun, and he was traveling and he is giving the light to his citizens. When he was so Parikshit Maharaj, how this Bhumandala was established, how it is happened. So what happened to the ditches he made when he was traveling around the sun? He made 7 ditches. What happened to the ditches? So I want to hear about it. So here question is why he wants to hear all this, and also what is the importance of hearing all this. We can understand from these verses. And we are stepping into the Vedic cosmology part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vedic cosmology also explained by Srila Sukadeva Goswami elaborately to Parikshit Maharaj, and it explained in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And why this is important? If it is not much important, why our acharyas have given very much important, and they have given the commentary on this. And there are so many Maharajas and so many senior Vaishnavas, they dedicated their life to understand this. So especially Dandavedi Goswami, Drutakarma Prabhu. So they all worked so hard to know more about the Vedic cosmology. They did research how these planets are arranged, what is exactly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. And later on, the disciple of Ramanujacharya, Vadiraja Tirtha, so he wrote the Bhugola Varnanam. So here in this book also they explained elaborately how these continents, how this, especially Bharata Varsha is arranged. And so recently, our Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, so in his Surya Siddhanta also explained all these facts elaborately. So they have given much importance to know about these facts. Not only Sukadeva Goswami mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, these acharyas given much importance to know about this, and they have given commentary on these points also. And also one of the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam is Sthanam. So when Lord Brahma, he is after creating the first creation by Lord Sarga, he created second creation, Visarga. In his creation, he has created 14 planets. So in the middle there is a Bhumandala. Above this there are 6 planets. Below the Bhumandala there are 7 planets. Altogether there are 14 planets was created by Lord Brahma. So in these 14 planets, we can see there are three prominently in our nearby. So Bhumandala. So there is a Bhu. So the place where we live, Bhu, Bhuvaha. So Antariksha, where the planets and all these are there. From the moon to Dhruvaloka, there is a Swarloka. So three planets are where the sun penetrates and gives his light. And these sthanam part of this Srimad Bhagavatam, the topic sthanam. So it is giving much more information how the living entities in these planets are situated and how they are living, what is their survival, what is their lifestyle, what are the opulences they have in this. All these planets are explained, the sthanam portion. And it is also very important to understand, so not only about our earth, so we are living on the earth, so we know we have a very limited knowledge about the earth, and also Bhagavatam is giving insight of knowing the other planets and what is their opulence and where the other living entities are staying, and what are the other parts of the Bhumandala. So especially in the Bhumandala, not only this Bharatavarsha, these 7 continents, there is much more to know and see. So Prabhupada says, with our limited knowledge, so with our limited qualifications, we cannot see the entire part of the mandala. Even if you see in these 7 continents, if we want to go from one country to another country, we are not allowed. So we need visa, passport to go to other country. So in the same way, so in order to see the other parts of this Bhumandala, so we need some special qualifications to understand, to know about this. That's why even though they are existing, some may doubt whether they are existing or not. So it is only in the Bhagavatam. So we cannot see, because so we don't have a qualifications to everything is existed in this Bhumandala, but we don't have a qualifications to see it. And I'll show one this one before I. Share something. Please bear with me. Are you able to see Prabhuji? Mataji?
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, now we can see it.
Yeah, okay. So when Parikshit Maharaj, he was traveling around along the path of Surya, he made 7 dishes. These 7 dishes are called Dvipas. There are 7 Dvipas around the Mount Meru. In the middle of the Bhumandala, there is a Mount Meru. So we already studied in previous verses. So around that Mount Meru, there are 7 ditches and formed as a dvipas. The meaning of dvipa is dvi-apa. Apa means water. So on either side there is a water. Each island is surrounded by water. So there are 7 islands, dvipas are there. So in the middle there is a Jambu Dvipa, and if you go further, there is a Plaksha Dvipa and Salmali Dvipa around it, Kusa Dvipa. If you see, they are surrounded by some water bodies. Each Dvipa is surrounded by water body. It may be butter, it may be liquor, it may be sugar cane, it may be water. Some water bodies are there. Kusa Dvipa. So after that, Kraunchva Dvipa and Sakha Dvipa and Pushkara Dvipa. These are the 7 islands formed by the prince of the court of the Priyavrata Maharaj. Yeah, here these 7 ditches are made. 7 deepas are here. And if you go to another, so these 7 the islands, the middle one is Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa, again, the Priyavrata Maharaj, he has given these 7 islands to his 7 sons. The Agnidra, the elder one, got the Jambudvipa. So Agnidara had 9 sons. Again, he divided these Jambudvipa into 9 Varshas. Varsha means, so those are surrounded by mountains. Dvipa means surrounded by water, and Varsha means on either side there is a mountain, big mountains. These Jambudvipa again divided into 9 Varshas. So I'll share that one. Hope you are able to see Prabhuji here.
Yes, we can see Mataji.
So here we are knowing about the how Jambudvipa is divided into 9, and in these 9 Varshas, so the middle one is Ilavrita Varsha. So Ilavrita Varsha is given to the elder son of Agnidra, and he was ruling it. In this Bhagavatam, Srila Sukadeva Goswami elaborately explained the opulences of Ilavrita Varsha. So Ilavrita Varsha is surrounded by so many mountains, lakes, gardens, and they are giving the ample supply of milk, yogurt, so many things for survival. If you see, here in the middle there is a Mount Sumeru. So we are describing about the Ilavrita Varsha. So here Ilavrita Varsha is surrounded by immediate 8 mountains, and after the 8 mountains there are 4 big mountains. If you see, this is one mountain, this is one mountain, this is one mountain. So from the east we see this is Mandara mountain. In the eastern side of Ilavrita Varsha, surrounded by Mandara mountain. It is so big mountain, and there is a one big tree, Devachyuta mango tree is there. The size of mangoes is very, very, very big. So it was described, it is 480 kilos, one mango. Can you imagine how big it is? So when these mangoes are falling on the ground from the highest mountain, the mountain is so high. On that mountain, on the top of the mountain, there is a big tree. From the tree, these 400 to 500 kilos of mango falls on the ground, and this make a big river that is called Arunoda river, this mango tree. And so on the southern side, there is a Mount Mandara. So Meru Mandara. So this is Mandara. This on the southern side, there is a Mandara. So in Mandara, there is a mango tree. It gives Arunoda river, and it gives fragrance for many, many, many miles. The celestial women, especially the maidservants of Bhavani, they come and they enjoy the taking bath in this river, and they get performance. They get their beauty from this river water. And Mer Mandara, so if you see, there is a rose apple tree. It's a big tree. Those apples, those are jambu fruits. When the jambu fruits fall from the top of the mountain, top of the tree, and it gives Jambu river, Jambu Nadi. When this Jambu river, that juice mixed with mud, after some time it is dried by air and sun, it gives gold. So many celestial women, they come and enjoy, they make ornaments out of this gold. So these are the opulences around the Ilavrita Varsha. And there are so many lakes. In the Meru Mandara, there is a lake called Milk Lake and Nandana Gardens. In the Meru Mandara, there is a honey lake. So Jambu Nadi and Jambu Nada. Jambu Nada is nothing but the gold formed by the Jambu River. And if you come to the west side, that is Mount Supraswa. Here the sugarcane lake is there, and there is a Mahakadamba tree on the top of this Mount Supraswa. Yesterday, His Holiness Rameswami Maharaj was giving points about Kadamba tree. So the Kadamba tree, it was giving the Kadamba fruits, and from this lake, from the river, 5 honey rivers follow. So they take that honey and they enjoy their lives. So that honey gives lots of fragrance, and so many healthy concepts are associated with this honey. They enjoy their life with this honey lake and sugarcane lake. And when you come to the north, this is Mount Kumada. So this mountain is called Mount Kumada. Here there is a big tree of banyan. So this Setavals. So this big banyan tree, it is very, very, very big tree, and it has lots of branches, and again the branches are rooted to down, and so many rivers flow from these roots. So we are discussing about this Mount Kumada in these words. What are the opulences people are getting? What are the sources they are getting for their survival from this mountain and from this tree, from this banyan tree? So from this banyan tree, there are so many rivers flow. From these rivers, they get whatever they want for their survival. Nothing to worry. So milk, yogurt, water, and clothes, bedding, so many other things. There are hundreds and thousands of rivers flow. They give everything necessary for their survival. So what are they? Bedding, clothing, ornaments, so milk, yogurt, fruits, vegetables, everything. That river produces everything. And this is the description of Ilavrata. And around the Ilavrata, there are 4 big mountains. These 4 big mountains, they give ample supply of necessities, so life necessities for their survival. And on the eastern side, there is a Devachyuta mango tree, and from the mango tree, Arunoda river flows, and this is so fragrance, and celestial women come and take bath there. And the Mer Mandara, there is a Jambu Nada, it gives gold, so they make ornaments and they enjoy so many beauty things out of this river. And when we come to Suprasa, there is a honey river flows, and the garden is Vibrajaka. So the beautiful gardens also there around these mountains. And now we are discussing about Mount Kumuda. In this Mount Kumuda, there is a big banyan tree. From the roots of this banyan tree, so hundreds and thousands of rivers flow. They give all the necessities for their life. So this is about description of Ilavrita. Here we can see the importance of the lifestyle of these opulences, lifestyle of these people, the living entities who live there. And when you go to this planetary system again, there are 3 swargas are mentioned. The 3 swargas are heavenly swarga, divine swarga, that is called Divya Swarga, heavenly swarga. The opulences are in the heaven, the Swargaloka, that is Divya Swarga. And the opulences on earthly planets is called Bhauma Swarga, and opulences below the earthly planet is called Bila Swarga. So the lower planetary system also possesses so many opulences, they are called Bila Swarga. But if you see this Jambudvipa again divided into 9 varshas. In these 9 varshas, Ilavrita Varsha is in the middle. And Bharat Varsha, I'll share the screen. So this is the 9 varshas. In the middle, Ilavrita Varsha and Bhadrasava Varsha, Ketumala Varsha, Ramyaka Varsha, Hiranmaya Varsha, Uttarakuru Varsha, Hari Varsha, and Kempurusha Varsha, Bharata Varsha. So if you see these Varshas, in here, they are separated by mountains. That's why these are called Varshas. If you come in the south, the extreme south of this Ilavrita Varsha, so of this Jambudvipa, the Bharata Varsha is here. So Bharata Varsha again divided into 9. So the place we are staying is Bharatakanda. Actually. So Bharatakanda. So apart from Bharata Varsha, the remaining Varshas are called Bhaumasarga. Why these are called Bhaumasarga means they have unlimited opulences to enjoy. They enjoy life until they dead. Their lifespan is so long. It's not like on earthly planet. The lifespan is so long. So entire lifespan they enjoy with all these facilities and they enjoy the opulences. And it was said in Bhagavatam, the next chapters. So they go pregnancy at the last year of their life. And even in one muhurta, they get pregnancy. In one muhurta, they give birth. In one muhurta, they grow. So all happens. It's not like in a Bharatakanda. So now the pregnancy means 9 months they have to carry and they take a birth. Again they grow like that. It's not. So the life is so always they enjoy the opulences. They always enjoy with the opposite sex. Such enjoyments are there on the earthly planet. This Ilavrita Varsha, this Jambudvipa on earthly planet. That's why apart from Bharata Varsha, the other Varshas are called Bhoma Swarga, the heavenly opulences on earth. So that's why. So the here question, why Bhagavatam is, I'll stop the sharing. Why Bhagavatam is saying, recommending to understand all these. So when the living entity on the Bharatavarsha, and especially in the Bharatakanda, what we are seeing the 7 continents is Bharatakanda, the part of Bharatavarsha. So when they get any ritualistic activities, they perform some pious activity, they achieve some benefits. They achieve some pious activities. These pious activities, with this, they go to heavenly planet. First, they go to Divya Swarga. Then when they finish, they reduce, when the pious activity reduced and become very less, they come to this Bhauma Sarga to enjoy the remaining pious activities. When completely gone from the Bhauma Sarga, they again come to the earthly planet and they do the actions according to their desires, karma and svabhava. So Prabhupada is mentioning, so the opulences are there, facilities are there in this Bhoma Swarga, the Varsha, apart from Bhata Varsha, the remaining Varshas are Bhoma Swarga. In this Bhoma Swarga, there are so many opulences, so many facilities are there. So why these facilities are there? So even it is in the material world. So we know material world is Dukhalima, Sasvatam. So it is full of miseries. So sometimes we get happy with the little opulences. We don't get much opulence here. So still we want to enjoy. So here Prabhupada is giving us, so that is Vedic civilization. Even if you see the previous egas, the kings were ruling the kingdom, with so many religious principles. They were following the authority and they were following so many strict principles, and they are imbibing the devotional qualities. That's why Earth is giving opulent resources. So that if you see the episode of Prithu Maharaj, when he came as a king, that time Earth stopped giving all these resources. So it is a drought and it's flooding, and people are not having any um, food to eat. They are starving. Why this is happening? Because of previous ruler, Veena. So he is not ruling. He is not following any rules, religious principles. When the kings stop following the religious principles, even Mother Earth stops giving these resources to enjoy. So, in order to adopt the Vedic civilization, Prabhupada is recommending us to take up the religious principles like farming and the protection of cow, taking care of cow. When these two things are in the society, automatically the society will flourish. So no need to worry about it. So we are facing so many scarcities, shortages of water, shortages of food, because we are not using these resources in the service of Lord, and also misusing. And Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, so many are, instead of depending on this farming and cow protection, they are depending on the industries to make a bowls and screws or small things. For they think that is the advanced technology and advanced civilization, but the thing they come up with, they end up with the bad habits of eating whatever they want without any discrimination. So even though they are having human form of life, they are eating, the digestive system, the food habits are different. So they are adapting the principles of eating meat, and they are depending on other living entities. They are killing the sacred animal cow also. And the perspiration, actually, when if you see the opulences of these Bhauma Sarga, the people in the Ilavrita Varsha, so what are the opulences they are having? So no wrinkles. So first of all, they are always look like a youth, and no gray hair. So that means no old age also. They never feel fatigued. They never tired. Because if you see, we can understand rivers are giving everything, the bedding, clothing, furniture, so ornaments, fruits, vegetables, drinking water, yogurt, milk. So everything is there. So why they have to work? There is no need of work. That's why they are not working, just simply enjoying. But if you see in our case, we have to work for survival. Otherwise, we cannot eat. So we work so hard like animals. But if you compare with the Bhaumasvarga, the opulences of Ilavrita Varsha, they never feel fatigue. That means they don't work hard. Everything is available from the nature. That is their opulence. And perspiration, no bad odor. So Prabhupada particularly mentioned this point in the purport. They are not having bad odor means they are living sattvic. They are relying on the nature. They are eating sattvic food only. So honey, so milk, yogurt, like these fruits, fresh fruits and vegetables, whatever um, whatever they get from the nature. That's why their bodies are so luster, and they no bad odor, no old age, and they can bathe, chill also, no hot, no cold. So just to enjoy. But if you see in our condition, so the people are adopting different lifestyles, and they are eating different food apart from the sattvic food, and they are working so hard. They are not depending on the nature, they are depending on the missions, industries, and they are cutting the trees for making the skyscrapers, and they are working so hard. They are, because they are eating so many abominable things, the perspiration, they are getting the bad odor. So this is the symptom of material conditional life. So these are the qualities. But here in this world, so in this material world, especially in the Bharatakanda, it is entirely different compared to the Bhaumasvarga. So you may ask why Bharatakanda is entirely different from the Bhaumasvarga. It is not included because it is karma bhumi. We have to perform our karma. We have to perform our devotion service. So it's a divya, tapodivyam. You have to perform the austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service, as mentioned by Rishabhadev. So that is our austerity here. So that's why we work so hard and we just depend on the Lord, and we take up the process of devotion service, and we follow the karma yoga. So the karma philosophy is there in the Bharata Varsha. That's why it is not Bhaumasarga. That's why we don't get such many opulences here. And also, Prabhupada is mentioning that why we cannot get these opulences, why it is not recommended. So in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, everywhere in the sacred holy books, it is mentioned that we have to go back to spiritual world. The aim is given very clearly. The aim is not given to go to Divya Swarga, not go to Bhaumaswarga. Even though there are so many opulences, we can see how many mountains are there, how many rivers, trees are giving opulent food and everything. Still, the Bhagavad and Bhagavad Gita are not recommending to go to that. It's not our goal. It's not our goal to Divya Swarga or Bhuma Swarga or Bila Swarga. Our goal is go back to spiritual life. So where we can see Lord Krishna face to face, and also and the attaining the Lord's love, prema, is our goal, not going to Bhaumasvarga or Divyasvarga, even though there are so many opulences. So that's why Bhagavatam is not recommending. So what is happening? Even Devatas, demigods, in one of their prayers, we come across in the 19th chapter, the prayers of demigod. They pray, they praise the Bharatakanda, Bharatavarsha, the Karma Bhumi. Why? So because they are puffed up with their opulences, with their power. Sometimes Indra, we know. So many times Indra also he gets puffed up with his opulences, power. They sometimes forget the devotion service. They sometimes forget the Lord, existence of the Lord also. We can see so many episodes. Even Lord Brahma, he was bewildered and he came to test Lord Krishna. Even demigods, with those opulences, they forget devotion service. If you go down, even the demons, Rakshasas, they are with so many opulences. The opulences in Bilasvarga is more than the divine and Divya Swarga and Bhoma Swarga. So that's why they are engaged in these actual attractions between male and female and eating, enjoying everything. So that opulence. So that is not recommended in our Shastras. Our recommendation, our goal is Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. So that is our goal. And why these are not recommended, also explained by Kunti Maharani in first canto 8, chapter 26th verse. Janmaisvara Sruta Sribir. So Sruta, Sribir, these four things are very, very, very dangerous. What are they? Janma. So taking birth in the royal family. Janma, Aishwarya, opulence. So enjoying the facilities of that rich family. Beauty. So the education, beauty and education, these are the impediments for the devotion service. When you exhaust, when you give up this attraction, we can see the devotion service. We can see, especially in the Elavrita Varsa, the description, so explained in today's words, they are enjoying these opulences so nicely, and they are relying on the nature. They're enjoying, they don't have a time to remember Lord. So that's why Bharatakanda, Bharatavarsha is so important. Here we have a mixed, sometimes happiness, sometimes sad. When the sad comes, at least we can remember Lord. That remembrance is possible in the Bharatavarsha. That's why it is not Bhaumasvarga. So in even Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says 2.44, Bhogesvarya Prasaktana Taya Parda Setasa, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadhavana Dayate. So whoever attracted to this bhoga, the opulences for material things, the resolution and devotional service cannot be established. Very, 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 very difficult. If they are with the enjoyment, if they are with opulences, they are surrounded by so many facilities, opulences, they cannot see the Lord. They cannot, first of all, they cannot remember the Lord. Why? Because everything is going happily. There is no sad. If sad comes, some reverses come, we try to remember Lord. In these opulences, in these varshas, in the especially Ilavata Varsha, Bhaumisvarga, there are no sad, everywhere happy. So Lord says personally, if you give up that attachment, give up that opulences, enjoying tendency, that loving devotion service established in your heart, that is the only way to come to me. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult. That's why even demigods are saying that. So Bharatavarsha is so great. So we are enjoying these opulences, but we don't remember Lord. But what austerities, what pious activities they perform to take birth in the Bharatavarsha. Even demigods, they want to come and take birth in the Bharatakanda to remember the Lord, to do devotion service. They know the importance of devotion service, but they bereft of this devotion service because of their opulences. So we can see in this, all these Svargas, they are bereft of devotion because of their opulences, because they the positions and the facilities, rich facilities, and the the next verse also Krishna says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nisraigunya Bhavajana, Nidbandha Nitya Sattva. So that means here, Niryoga Kshema Atman, he says that, so these words of Vedas and everything, so they give much importance to these Purushadas. And if you are not with anxieties, freedom, you have to be freedom from dualities, happy, sad, success, failure. If you overcome these dualities, you can see me. Otherwise, it is very, very, very difficult to see me. That's why Prabhupada, even though these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam explaining all these opulences elaborately about this Jambudvipa, Ilavrita Varsha, about all these Varshas and their opulences, at the end Prabhupada is saying that, so that is not our goal. That is not our goal. So where there is no devotional service, only attraction for the enjoyment. So as Krishna said, if you detach from that attraction of the opulences, we can see the Lord, we can understand the devotion service. Prabhupada established this very big family of ISKCON, and he facilitated with so many Krishna conscious activities to remember the Lord all the times, not only in the sad moments, to remember the Lord all the times, in happy moments as well as sad moments. We can remember the Lord all the times, and so we can go back to Godhead as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, to come back to me by Sri Krishna. So that's why Prabhupada is mentioning our goal is not going to, it's not aiming towards the Bhaumisvarga or any Svarga for opulences. Our aim is go back to Godhead, where we can see unlimited happiness. He is a Satchidananda Vigraha, Ananda, unlimited happiness is there by serving him through the process of devotion service. That's why adapt devotion service and remember the Lord. The principle of ISKCON is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So Prabhupada has facilitated with so many Krishna conscious activities so that we can remember Krishna all the times. So from the Mangalarati to Sayanarati, there are so many activities, so many things we can do, we can adopt, and we can think, and we can remember about the Lord. Taking prasadam also, it makes our consciousness, and it makes us to remember the Lord all the times. Lord activities, Nama Rupa Guna Leela, Lord's activities, Lord's form, Lord's name, and Lord's pastimes. So we can remember every time. We can go back to Lordhead. So this is it's my realization. If anybody would like to add any more points or anything wrong, you can correct me. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo. Anybody would like to add any points, Mataji? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anybody is there?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much for your nice class. I think first time I've heard someone explaining so much of details in terms of the varshas and the various planetary systems. Very clearly you explained it. So thank you for that. And those diagrams what you shared also was very clear. Otherwise, when we just read it, we find it so difficult to understand. So I think very pictorially when you explained it very nicely. Otherwise, it's a very difficult concept. Thank you for doing that, Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Krishna. So anybody would like to add any more thing, Prabhuji? Otherwise, we'll close it. We'll conclude it, Prabhuji.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Her Grace Savitri Mataji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.